this food is already smelling fantastic. Is this for me? Myself? Individually?
Sure is.
Nobody else? All right, cool.
We're good.
All right, Luke, you do this interview, and I'm going to eat the food.
Yeah, what do we have here? Let's start with there, because you brought this up, and if you're not viewing us on YouTube, check it out there, because we have a variety of meats and breads, and I'm going to let you describe it, Chef, and that will kick us off.
All right, so this is our loaded gun board. I think it's the best representation of the kind of concept we're running right now.
Yeah.
So we have our homemade flatbread. We drizzled out a little bit of herb oil, balsamic, and smoked salt. And right next to it, we have our homemade smoked pulled pork, which we go to 8 hours in the smoker and about 4 to 6 hours more in the hot box, so it gets nice and tender and it doesn't dry out too much. Then on the other corner, we have our char siu ribs, and next to it is our andouille sausage. And this is the meat platter.
I like how you just describe it as it's just chorizo. And like the scents alone are giving me,
and
like,
of course, to cut a little bit through all that greasy meat, we have our home pickled veggies. So we have home pickled jalapenos, cornichons, and pickled red onion. That balances it out a little bit. Yeah.
And so I'm going to take the mic and set the stage, if I might. We walked up here, and the first thing is you see kind of the building and the Stagecoach sign, and it feels like it should be in Tucson, right?
Yeah.
Pull into the parking lot, get out, and you smell the smoker, which is what you were talking about. It is right out front here. It is like, I don't know if I should call it the crown jewel, because that maybe takes away from other things, but as soon as I see that, I'm like, okay, I'm in a good spot.
It's an eye catcher for sure.
Yeah, it's an eye catcher.
It's like the thing that's got the big,
And it is intended to do that.
Yeah.
We're luring you here.
There's a good reason why we put it out front and not close to the kitchen.
Sure, absolutely. Well, and so then once you come in, it's a beautiful setting, and now we have the food in front of us. So with that said, to set the stage for the podcast and not just the setting itself, you two gentlemen, go ahead and introduce yourselves if you wouldn't mind. We'll start right here.
Absolutely. My name is Heiner Zacher. I'm originally from Germany, but I like to say I've gypsied around my entire life. I grew up in East Africa and Tanzania. I've lived in France. Spent 4 years in Miami Beach, and I just love Arizona. My wife is from here. We have 2 kids that we raise here, and we love it, So I've seen a lot of places in the world, and without a doubt, Sedona is one of the most beautiful places. And now for us to be able to run this restaurant together, Stagecoach, is just an awesome opportunity, and it's going really well, and it's a good time.
Yeah.
All right, so my name is Bert Bonarend. I'm originally from Belgium, and a little bit like Heiner, also gypsied around quite a bit for my age, I can say. So when I graduated, I started the job where I did my internship, and there was a really renowned Belgian chef who pretty soon also retired because of his pretty old age. And then I started going around from place to place. So I went to South America first, came back to Holland instead of Belgium, and then that chef sent me to Mexico, and that's where I met Heinrich Stasiuk, who is the owner of Wild Time, of course. And he convinced me to come over here and take this as the first challenge. And so I just moved here in September, and me and Heiner opened this place up, and it's going really good so far. I think we did a really crazy busy opening, in my opinion. We did 100 to 200 covers on the first night for 2 weeks, and this slow season is a nice moment to breathe.
Well, there was a lot of people that would this was a popular spot in Sedona, right? Like before you guys took over, this was already a place that got some traffic and was known.
It was quite a different concept, I would say.
Yeah.
Different environment altogether. It was called the Old Sedona.
Okay.
Which was more of a dive bar. Which nothing against dive bars. I love them myself.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
We've definitely revamped the place and given it a different identity altogether.
Yeah,
we still have a lot of people coming in and going what's going on here? What happened? And then we have to explain it.
0% of dive bar. When I pulled into this place, the smoke of when you get this food on the platter and just you guys, it's not dive bar. I'm pretty stoked to. I hope Luke continues on this interview. So
I will pick it up a little bit, because I started out with the sausage, and for me, the number one thing with sausage, even before flavor, if I'm honest with you on a personal level, is the snap of the sausage itself, right? If it doesn't have a snappy casing, the whole thing, even if it tastes great, it's not going to do it for me, right? And it started out there, and then it continues on tasting great. And Eric is fumbling around the ribs right now. But I guess with that said, walk us through some of these food items and kind of how they play to the Stagecoach identity, if you will.
For example, the pulled pork. So we have our smoker in front of the house. So should I explain you how we do
please
it from
do.
start to bottom? So the pork butts, which are the pork shoulders, we get them in bone in because the bone is a big part of the flavor. And so we rub it in our house-made rub, which is consistent of smoked paprika, coriander powder, chili powder, brown sugar, a lot of things going there. It's a 12-item recipe. So we rub them overnight. So we rub them, let them marinate overnight, and then the smoking process starts. So we use white oak, which is pretty flavorful. You can kind of recognize the flavor like in your whiskeys.
Arizona white oak?
Arizona white oak.
Really?
Yeah. So sometimes when you get a really smoky piece, you can get a little bit of whiskey flavor in there because it's a smoky oak, of course. And we do it to 6 to 8 hours, get the smokiness in there. Then we take it out back to the kitchen where we have a Altosham, it's like a hot box, where we continue the cooking process where it's like less moisture losing.
Is that primarily to render the fat itself?
Not specifically the fat, but just to get it as tender as possible.
Okay.
Because you see a lot of people pull their pork with the claws. We don't even need claws. It's just kind of push it down and it just falls apart.
I'm going to apologize real quick because unfortunately we don't have any silverware, which is no problem at all to me. But if I seem rude, kind of just doing a little pinch here.
No problem. Get a piece of bread and scoop it out.
well, I like what you said too, as far as like the you kind of passed over a little bit of like, we put this seasoning on it. That seasoning you choose is very selective, right? Like you're not just throwing in whatever you have on the shelf. Like you as the head chef, what do you want to see in your barbecue that, like, from a seasoning standpoint?
Well, especially because I'm still a Belgian guy transitioning to this.
Yeah. But we want Belgian influence into this industry.
To my taste profile, I would say we go pretty high in sweetness, which is more the American style barbecue.
I agree with that.
So that's why we got a good part of brown sugar in there, and then. Yeah, you want that smokiness and those full flavors, so that's where we have cumin going in there, the really hardiness.
Yeah.
The spiciness, there's a little bit of chipotle in there. Like I said, it's the total is 12 items.
Yeah.
Because we really want, like, the meat to be there and strong in flavor and not just... Because there's nothing more boring than, like... I would say a little bit of bland pulled pork.
Lame ass meat.
I think our body right. Yeah, I think our body right can already confirm that
dude, he's done. He's already out. He's like, I'm not even just an audio. I'm just eating this
like
pork.
You get this and it's straight away just hits you.
Brother.
Is that your specialty? Would you say that pork is the specialty as far as like what is your specialty as a chef?
As a chef, well, that's a really annoying question. No, I think for sure in this place, this is a little bit one of our eye catchers, save for the ribs.
Yeah.
They're a little bit untraditionally because they're more Asian style.
Sure.
But they're a little bit crispy. They're still fall off the bone. They still have their textures, sweet and sour, a little bit going on.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit untraditionally. Although on the other side, when it picks up again, we're gonna amp up the smoker a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a little bit calm right now to do that.
For sure.
But we also do briskets, barbecue ribs. We run those specials. A few weeks ago, we did a pastrami, made a Reuben sandwich.
Thank you.
So, yeah, we kind of like to play around too because we have an amazing smoker out there. So we like to go outside the menu a little bit too.
So from a like personal, like, because Luke and I come from a barbecue background, right? Where you just barbecue in the background in a backyard, right?
I like that, a barbecue background where you just barbecue in the background.
Yeah. Follow me. But
I just eat barbecue in the background. I don't do it myself, but I appreciate it.
Full spray. But is that something where you guys grew up where it was like you did barbecue in the backyard? Like where you guys were doing ribs and smoking brisket and stuff? Or is that something that's pretty new to the U.S.?
I mean, it's, to me, barbecuing is a typical U.S. almost pastime.
Yeah.
Right? And I love it because I love to drink beer. I love to hang out outside. I have a smoker at home. I have a big barbecue pit. I was using
We're
it
going
yesterday.
to your house next time we're in town.
Let's go.
Come by.
Your house, he's cooking.
That's right. There you go. And so to me, it's definitely part of almost the U.S. way of life.
For sure.
You know, everybody here has a barbecue pit in their backyard.
Yep.
In Germany and in Europe specifically, it's not that common. You know, like here, it's just another way of cooking dinner almost, which a lot of people do and enjoy doing. Whereas in Europe, it's more of a, you know, maybe once a year you go to a park with a little bag
thing
of...
most of the time, especially Belgium, Europe. We don't get good weather for 10 months out of the year.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
So for us, barbecue is more, it's good weather, get the boys together, crack open the beers and start barbecue. And just because it's a short period of time in the year, it's way different. Like
and of course, the moments we're here, it's storming like crazy, right?
Oh, for sure.
Which is beautiful.
Yeah.
This is a place where you love the rain.
Yes.
Right? In Europe, you're like, it's raining again. 5 months out of the year, you know.
We're going to make a deal. All right. So Luke and I live in Phoenix. When it rains, we're going to come up here. We're going to eat barbecue. We're going to drink drinks. And we're going to hang out.
It's not even a deal. It's just a declaration. That's what we're going to do.
This is what's going to happen.
This is what's happening. No, this is really, really cool that you guys are creating this concept in this atmosphere, right? Because you're already in a world-class atmosphere, right? People come here and they're like, holy shit, like this place is incredible, right? Now, you guys are bringing in this concept and this food execution that is next level, right?
Exactly.
How has it been? Like, this is old town, right? This is John Wayne. This is, you know, cowboy town. How accepting has it been to what you guys are bringing to this?
I think, honestly, I mean, look at the drinks we have in front of us, right? If you think standard, typical barbecue place, and then you look good with that passion fruit sparkler in your hand, Eric. I'm not gonna lie.
You saw my.
And you know, like it's almost a clash, but we want to elevate the level of experience and service to the next level, right? We don't just want to serve you a beer. We have delicious beers on tap too, but we want to be able to pair our foods with specialty cocktails also.
Yeah. Why is that though? Like, what is it that like? Right. So do you have a background in food and beverage, like where you've got that?
Absolutely. So I studied hotel and restaurant management in Germany. And once I was done, the reason I did that was to escape the nasty cold of Germany.
Welcome to Prescott.
Which is why I came to Arizona.
Yeah.
And that was with the JW Marriott. And so I've been in food and beverage the past 13 years of my life.
Yeah.
And I love it. You know, I love the people aspect of it and anticipating people's needs and just delivering good service.
Blowing people's mind away, right?
Indeed. Like just, that's the idea.
Yeah, giving people a good time.
For sure. Yeah.
And so in Sedona, you know, it is a destination, a global tourism destination. People come from all over the world. It's... Enjoy, brother.
You can't be cool and eat those ribs, dude. You cannot.
We thought this was for presentation purposes, by the way. We would have gladly provided silverware, napkins, etc. But
we don't need silverware and napkins.
Yeah, dig in. It's barbecue.
When the food is that good that you don't need silverware and napkins, that's the sign.
So good. Like, I want to wipe one on my pants so my pants smell like that.
Good thing I didn't bring the soup out.
Yeah, exactly. What's next, chef? Yeah.
But yeah, so it's an international tourism destination, and people do have high expectations when they come here.
Yeah.
And so we want to make sure both food, drink, and service-wise, we meet and are able to exceed those expectations. You know, if you're paying $300, $400, $500, $700 for a room, you have expectations.
Yeah.
We are also growing the local market. You know, people are discovering us and rediscovering this spot, and they're like, wow, you've completely transformed the place, and we love it.
I got my back adjusted about a half mile up the road. The dude was awesome. He was like, oh, is there a new place going on in down there? I'm like, yeah, dude, Stagecoach. Like, revamping the whole thing. But he even said like there's a need for like kind of a rejuvenation of what like Sedona food and beverage is, right? Because we talked to Cove Mesa Winery, really doing some cool stuff, and and nothing but respect for Oak Creek Brewery down the street, right? Make some really, really good beers and some really good food, but they can't alone just carry that weight, right? You got places like you guys and Cove Mesa and all these wineries and restaurants that are starting to build this thing up, right?
Absolutely.
So I think you guys are doing so far so good. Luke hasn't said a word yet.
He's busy, man. He's busy.
So normally when I have a bite of something during the podcast, I can resist from continuing to eat it, but the flavor of the pork and the ribs and whatnot, it's different than flavors I've tried before, and that's something that to me is like Arizona's perfectly ripe for that because of the cultural fusion that you guys are bringing to the table, but also the quality of ingredients and kind of the different concepts that are being pushed forward. Sedona is kind of perfect for a place to open up a restaurant, right? Because it's very tourist driven. Sometimes, during the summer and whatnot, there's slow seasons, but you almost don't even really have to make the best food because people need to eat when they're in Sedona. But what you guys are doing is not only visually appealing and delicious, but like the cocktails combined with the food creates a totally different elevated experience. What are some of the most popular items on your guys' menu that people have really been adopting since you've opened up?
Well, of course, this one for sure. This is why I brought it out. This is a little bit the star of the menu, but then we have a little bit of specialty dishes, which is like the clay-baked chicken. We use the red Sedona clay because we kind of want to incorporate the environment. In.
Wow.
Yeah, I can bring one out later on. I saved one because I knew you guys wanted to. Yeah. So we marinate the chicken. We do some pickled peppers in there, and then we wrap it up, put it into the clay, and we bake it inside the clay, and that kind of seals it up so all the moist stays inside. And again, it's kind of a local representation, so we put the cornbread with it. We have a confit garlic sauce and a little bit of Mexican crema, and this is also one of our exemplary dishes. I think this
and we do present it that way at the table to show you how it's
beautiful flour out of the clay. We present it, give the flour to...
I've never even heard of a clay-baked chicken. I've heard of like salt-baked fish and whatnot, which I think is more of a European thing.
Exactly.
I don't know if it's specific to Belgium or whatever, but the fact that you're coming in and taking these worldly techniques and implementing them on such a hyper-local level that you're literally using Sedona clay, to eat something like that and look out at these mountains over here, to me, it's like how much cooler of a food and beverage experience could you have?
For sure.
We try to make it an experience from the beginning. I think that's why we get received nicely. We got the direct view when you look at the place. We ask you want a high top, you want a little more in the corner table. So we try to accommodate the people as much as possible and make sure they have the best time we can give them.
So what other examples of kind of like a local tie, like we even have the purely Sedona sparkling water here, are there other examples of ties to Sedona or the region that you guys can think of right now? I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but not necessarily Sedona, but the desert in specific.
Well,
maybe.
Again, the most typical thing of Sedona are the red rocks, of course. That's why everybody comes here, takes their Instagram picture. So we got a chocolate dessert, which you always should have a whole chocolate dessert for the chocolate lovers. So we played around there. So we made a white chocolate rocks, which consist of homemade rice.
White chocolate rocks.
Yeah, but we painted them orange to be red rocks, so they're orangey red. And we did that with achiote paste, because I didn't want to use any colorants, because that's cheating in my opinion. So I was looking for something to color it, and I stumbled on achiote, put it in there, and it combined surprisingly well with white chocolate. So now we got those white chocolate rocks, which are red rocks, on our chocolate rustler dessert. So we it's not a local ingredient maybe, but we kind of put the environment into the dish again. So.
Well, and I think that's one of the interesting things about the Southwest in general is it's like to consider Arizona a region on its own doesn't really paint the picture of what the Southwest is, right? Like I almost consider not that Arizona is the Southwest, but it's hard to imagine the Southwest without Arizona, or imagining Arizona as just a border that stops and not imagining, for example, the Colorado River. It doesn't really paint the picture of what this state truly is. So I think that's a great example of some other stuff that you guys are doing. And of course, we have some wonderful cocktails here. This mojito is maybe one of the best I've ever had, because at first I sucked up some, is this blackberry mojito?
It's a blackberry mojito indeed.
You get not just bits of blackberry, but like the freshest blackberry I think I may have ever had in my life. And the flavor of mint on it is not overwhelming, but it definitely is letting you know that there's mint in this mojito. So talk to me a little bit about the cocktails that you have, if you could.
Absolutely. So the blackberry mojito, we do muddle fresh blackberries rather than buying some kind of a puree or whatever, what have you. And naturally fresh mint leaves. All of the juices we use in-house, we squeeze in-house. So obviously a fresh lime juice, and then a little bit of simple syrup, and then it's just topped with a little bit of soda water. Right, so classic mojito, but the blackberry gives it that fresh flavor that really can cool you down if it were hot outside. Now it's just comfy cozy.
Yeah, sure.
But definitely a very refreshing drink. And then next to that we have the Roadhouse Colada, which is basically a deconstructed pina colada. So we squeeze fresh pineapple juice. We use Zacapa rum and Bacardi. Zacapa and Malibu. And then we use, what's the thing called in English? For the whipped cream?
The whippets?
The whippet.
Whippets. Goddamn right. Yeah.
The whipped cream.
He knows. He's a chef. He knows.
It's 5 bottles.
Yeah, it's like it
Whipped cream
aerates.
bottles. Yeah.
It aerates the cream and.
Yeah, exactly. So we use
it
coconut
on the
cream
Okay.
on top. So hence a deconstructed version.
As opposed to like a dairy cream.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's fresh coconut cream. And obviously all of the fruit we dehydrate in-house for garnishes. And then Eric is enjoying the passion fruit sparkler, which suits him very well. You see, you can do this.
Very
barbecue and
yeah, right.
So it's passion fruit puree with a little bit of pineapple juice and tequila. And then it's just topped with a little bit of Prosecco to get that freshness and a little bit of sparkling.
With those edible flowers, too.
Indeed,
those edible flowers.
for garnish, absolutely.
Makes a difference.
Those aren't edible, dude. You're about to.
About to take
Have
an
a nice
adventure.
trip right now.
Indeed, yeah.
It's also part
Which
of
is why
Sedona.
this guy moved to Sedona.
That's
a
right,
full
that's
circle, man.
It's interesting too, because I see a lot of people making great cocktails, but they're not presented in a way that makes me really want to drink them. As
For
soon
sure.
as you brought these out and you brought the food out, you know, I'll be honest, I wasn't planning on chowing down while we were doing the podcast, but
I was.
well, as soon as you
He's
hit the
honest.
table, I was too. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I was too. So, kind of describe, you know, the experience when you come into Stagecoach. You've done it a little bit already, but talk about some of the other menu items people might see. Do you have live music, other things like that?
So we, generally in dining, right, you're not selling food, you're not selling alcohol, you're selling always an experience.
Sure.
Right? So we want you to feel welcome the second you approach the door. Which is why I found you guys snooping around the smoker before you.
You were out there.
We definitely were.
Hey, what's
It's
up,
like,
guys? What are you doing?
This
Well,
is
you
more
said
people
someone
trying to
stole something
steal
the
our
other day.
wings. You know, we
Yeah.
got to keep a close eye. Now that
not
we
the
know
first
there's
case
a
of theft.
chicken wing bandit out there. Our wings are just that good, by the way. that
If you are
people
the
come
chicken
and
wing bandit, please return the wings. That is not called for.
Now you
Also, we
you
have a
can keep
serious-
those fizzy wings. Just come and pay your bill.
But so naturally, we want you to be greeted in a fun and happy way. And then you pick where you seat. We try not to guide you too much. Naturally, we do have sections for our servers, but whatever table you want is yours. And we do have live country music Thursday through Sunday night from 6 to 9 p.m.
Okay. That's a lot of live music.
For sure.
We have a local legend called Michael Peters playing those nights, and he's fantastic solo artist.
Yeah.
Really good guy. And so people do dance. We have a mechanical bull. I don't even know if you guys realized that as you came in.
I saw it, but is it a fully functioning mechanical bull? That's
not
what I
realized.
realized.
It is a fully functioning mechanical bull.
Yeah. There's enough footage of that too.
Chef does this.
I tried to push my guys in the kitchen to ride it like early in the evening on Fridays and Saturday, because it's kind of a thing because people see it and they're like, oh, what's going on? And they're like too shy. So I push my guys on there, and then they fall off, and then everybody's like, "Oh, I want to do this." So otherwise, people just keep staring at it a little bit.
That's a great idea. Oh, the guy that's all
Part
the
of the
thing
job,
is the guy
guys.
who's making my risotto. Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm in.
And so
if
then
you can send a full bull ride, I mean, I feel like you're setting yourself up for a good shift in the kitchen, right? Like that's setting the table for sure, so to speak.
8 seconds.
To get rid of the stress.
Right?
Okay, so that's the limit of like you do 8 seconds, you're good to go.
If you can last 8 seconds,
If you can last
absolutely.
Yeah, you get the privilege of fucking wrapping silverware. Right?
And then with that, Fridays and Saturday nights, we turn into a bit of a club atmosphere and have rotating DJs starting at 10 p.m. Friday and Saturday until 2 a.m.
And it's been pretty good. Like people.
Oh, it's been great.
Yeah.
It's been great.
That's awesome.
So we've only been open 3.5 months now.
Sure.
And it's amazing. You know, there's really, you know, think about. I'm going to call us all young people. We're going to go with your age here.
From 25 to 43,
there
we're
you
good.
Go.
Yeah.
You know, you come to Sedona and you don't know that most places shut down by 9 p.m.
For sure.
And so it's exciting to be able to offer a late night food and be a little bit of a club atmosphere where you can come party, ride a mechanical bull, dance to a DJ. You know, we get a lot of bachelorette parties in here, wedding parties.
Have some top-notch food. Right?
Absolutely.
My dad loves coming to Sedona, but he's like, after 8:30, we can't find anywhere anything.
We've been noticing that too, because sometimes it's like we have a decent night, not too crazy. Then 8:30, we got 50 people walking in.
Yeah.
They want to get dinner real quick, and we're like, we're open till 10 o'clock. So
I want to see
do like
Chef
a second
bull. Right now.
Like we almost do sometimes a second shift almost near closing time because all those people were still hungry. We can't go to a lot of places anymore.
You can't predict it.
Yeah.
I've been in that exact position where I'm ordering Domino's at like 7 p.m. at night because nobody wants to take my order. They're like, you have to be here now or we're not going to give you any food.
No,
and I'm like, what am I going to do?
I come from a history of where, you know, we're here to serve, right? So if somebody comes in 9:30 and we're still rocking and rolling, there's absolutely no reason to turn them away.
Is that an American thing? Is that an American thing that has been created over... We can be totally open.
Like going against that. Like closing down when the closing time is, or even 10 minutes.
There is no closing time, you know?
For
if we're busy and people want to eat,
that's kind of the history of the industry in itself, right? Yeah. We're cleaning the pub, you know, the counter and all of this. You want another beer? Hell yeah. Like, I'm excited you want another beer. I think that mentality of like, nah, dude, last call was 40 minutes ago. I'm like, can I fucking have a beer?
2 a.m. is cutoff, though. That's the Arizona law.
You gotta have limitations.
Which was new to us, too, coming from Europe, you know. Closing at 2 a.m. is a strange thing.
You guys have this approach and this mentality of being able... Like, people want to have a drink a little bit later,
Absolutely.
right? And you don't need...
Especially up here, there's a paucity, a lack of it.
Yeah, and you don't need 65, 70 people to say, hey, I want a drink for you guys to be open.
No,
right? That's what you're saying. Yeah.
We're here anyways.
Yeah.
So we're happy to serve you.
Heck yeah.
You know, and we do now also have a late night menu, like I mentioned, which usually runs from 9 p.m. until around 11 p.m.
What's a late night menu entail?
Talk a little bit about that.
What makes it easier for a chef to do a late night menu?
Well, of course, it's... I would say 70% reduced because we also want to clean our kitchen and go home.
Sure.
But so we keep the fryers on.
Okay.
We have our cold station still open, and what we mostly do at night, I think the best selling item at night are the burgers.
Okay.
So we sell a good amount of burgers every night.
Keeping that flat top on.
Everything that's fried, you know. So we have our portobello fries, regular fries. We have some jalapeno poppers on the late night menu too. So just little bar bites.
Keeping that. I like bite bars too, man. Like, my wife's from Minnesota. There's got to be some bite bars in there. Yeah.
And And also the salad station, so we still have our salads on the night menu for people who do want a light meal at 11 at night. So
is a burger, is the flat top thing kind of a popular demand item late at night? Right? Because for me, I want like French fries or wings.
Yeah, the wings also.
You do your burgers on a flat top, yes or no?
On the grill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the grill. So all our meats are grilled. We have the flat top next to it, but we more use it for the bread.
Okay.
To get everything nice toasty. The spinach dip goes on there to get nice and crispy. So we have them both next to each other, but all our meats are grilled. Gives a little bit more of a crispiness to the meat, a little bit more smoky grilledness and more flavor.
And as we see demand growing, we're expanding the menu.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, growing, like how long how long have you been in the U.S.?
I arrived here in September.
Right. Like, come on. Right. You got a lot to learn,
landed
dude.
in one of the most coveted.
Have you had a hot dog off the rollers from Circle K? That's a big question.
I tried to avoid it.
I would too.
Well, I'm a chef,
So you haven't hit
even
a
when I
true.
get home drunk, I can still cook something up.
You haven't hit a true Sedona busy season then at all, huh?
No, really.
Yeah.
We got to come back up here and see if you still have the same energy after a true Sedona
For sure.
busy season.
I've done other stuff before.
I think they
I'm
will.
not scared of
I
that.
think they will. Like these guys are like, I can see in his eyes. He's like, "Fucking bring it! Like let's do it."
We have the
After-
space,
Yeah.
we have the service staff, we have the kitchen staff.
Culture. You have the culture.
We're
Like,
ready.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we were doing 250 covers a night when we first opened for
Yeah.
a month on the weekends.
And we took no chill opening up.
No, absolutely not.
No, they just
And that was
threw
part of
us
the
into
fun.
the fire.
Yeah.
And we passed it pretty good, of course. And so some people maybe couldn't take the heat, and they were like, "No, bye, chef." But now we got a really solid team. We have amazing people in the front of the house and back of the house.
Well, you have that mentality and that energy that kind of comes with being in this area, right? Because like my dad, he lives in Ohio, comes to Sedona. He's got a lot of energy. He's like, I want to take a hike. I want to do this and that. He wants to go to, he wants to eat dinner where there's energy too.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't want to go to a place that's just like, then it kind of bogs down and they're going to close at 8. Like this place got a different energy. It kind of plays off of the energy that already exists here. Is like people come here to hike, they come here to bike, right? They don't come here to just lay down on the ground, right? Like, so this kind of place kind of builds into that energy as well, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
there is a magical energy in Sedona. That's
For
why
sure.
people come from all over the world.
Yeah. Yep.
And we're excited to be here.
For sure.
The smell of the smoker is kicking up again.
That's
And
what threw me off for a second. I was on a
got a
really
little
good path.
distracted. What are all the different meats that you guys smoke?
So we do our wings. We do the pork bits, as I said before. We run our specials, which includes the barbecue ribs, the brisket, the pastrami we did last time. We also run a special that was the smoked salmon, so we do hot smoked salmon. And
Our deviled eggs.
deviled eggs
smoked
are also
deviled
on
eggs.
smoked.
Really? Like,
So
do you boil them before, or how do you do that?
Yeah, so we do them hard boiled, separate them, the eggs and the whites, and then the whites go for like 4 to 5 minutes because they tend to tense up if you put them more, and then the yolks go 15 to 20 minutes, and then they get a nice and smoky flavor. And
You do them separately. I didn't even know that was a thing.
I think if you would do them whole, like before cutting them up, I think the yolks wouldn't even get smoky, or not in time before it dries out. Maybe.
See, like I'm like, I like deviled eggs for sure, but I've never heard deviled eggs executed at the level where you're separating the eggs and the yolks. That's pretty epic. Like I remember doing them for Easter with the leftover eggs we had, and you're popping like the way overdone yolks out, and it's almost chalky at that point. That's kind of nothing like what you guys are doing, it sounds like.
No, and
In a good way.
We
In
like
a good
to
way.
make
He
it-
means that.
Now we make like to make it really creamy, so
Yeah.
we pipe the filling in there, of course. Put quite a good amount of more ingredients in the yolks, and so we put mostly like Dijon mustard, and then the smokiness, so that the sourness with the smokiness goes really well. And yeah, that's a little bit the specialty about our smoked devil.
A little closer into the mic. Say it more. Specialty.
No, yeah, that's what's special about our deviled eggs.
What like seasoning or just approach or?
Yeah, I think the balance we have with the smokiness.
Yeah. Yep.
And then, yeah.
Tell us about a few more.
I'll make one for you guys afterwards. It's better to taste it than to hear it.
I'll eat it. I will eat it.
I know you made it.
Tell us about a few more of the menu items you have that you think are just standout examples of the execution level that you guys have.
For example, we have a salmon dish on there, which is a little bit more out of the rest of the context. So we do it with green rice. We make it with fresh green herbs and clam juice. So we go back to that silty flavor. And we serve that with a dill honey yogurt and pistachios, and we got a lot of really nice feedback from the people on that one. Again, it's really fresh. For example, the dill yogurt, it's not just a little bit of yogurt, a little bit of dill in there and honey. So we make a dill oil, get a really infused flavor, mix that with the yogurt so it's nice and green. Then we chop in our fresh dill, white balsamic for the freshness, and then just a sweet touch of honey.
And without a doubt, the best salmon dish I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
And I've been in some...
You're a world traveler.
Fancy places.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Chef Bert makes the best salmon hands down I've ever had. And that dill-infused yogurt that goes with it is just... It's amazing.
You've been to fancy places. I've worked there. You know?
It's a good combo. Like you two are a good combo.
When
sure.
I heard, so before opening, they called me and they said like, "Hey, this is Heiner. This is gonna be your GM." And I kind of understood who he was. I was pretty happy.
Yeah.
Like,
Why?
German guy. Is it gonna be like a hit or miss, you know? And then we met each other, and so he picked me up at the airport when I arrived. We went straight to his house at our obligatory beers and gin tonics, and we kicked it off straight away.
Nice.
Indeed.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was that intentional on your part to like, hey, I want to let this guy know, like, kind of like, no, but like from a base level, right? Like, because drinks will strip away a lot of things, right?
Well,
like,
the best way to receive a Belgian guy is with beer, of course.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's check him out.
So how did you woo this guy? Like, how did
Well,
you?
you know, I always say Germans usually are grumpy by nature,
Yeah.
which is why I had to leave Germany. I grew up in East Africa.
Yeah.
And ever since I experienced life in the sunshine, and Tanzanians are the most friendly people on the planet, without a doubt. I knew I had to escape, so I don't consider myself 100% German because I think I lost that grumpiness growing up in Africa.
Sure.
You know, and that's where I learned my hospitality. Also,
Yeah.
most hospitable people, and obviously, yeah. I mean, you know, I love to drink beer. I love to eat barbecue food.
Yeah.
And no, there was no plan in seducing Bert.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just we're a good team.
Was it almost like when you met him? Was it I want to make sure he's right for us? Like, were you interviewing him in a way of like, I want to make sure he's the right fit for what we're trying to do?
Well, absolutely, right?
Yeah,
Because as a team, you have to mesh,
Yeah.
right? And if something doesn't, then it's going to be very, very challenging to make a successful concept.
For sure.
If the heads clash.
Especially at that level, right? Like the person who is like the top notch of executing the dishes and the guy who is like running the restaurant, right? If you guys don't see eye to eye, that's fucking brutal. Like that is a brutal,
Yeah, because
you know.
we have to check each other a lot too, because
Yeah.
he can see everything, I can see everything. So if he sees something that's not 100% to our standards, for example, he's like, "Hey, chef, come and check this out."
Yeah.
If I see something, and we are able to do that.
Yeah.
I've seen plenty of restaurants where the GM and the chef were like two
Almost,
siblings fighting. And,
yeah.
And I think if you want to bring quality, you can have that situation going on. I think we're quite lucky that we can be as professional in that way too.
Has it always been that way? Like from day one, it seems like, right?
Yeah, I think
think
Pick
so.
him up from the airport, pound some beers with him in the basement.
We never
On the porch.
On the
This
porch.
is Sedona.
screamed
Didn't
at
take
each
him
other so
inside. You
far.
did not go inside my house.
Not before I vet you. You know, my wife and kids.
She's fine.
Who's this Belgian?
Meet me down at the Circle K. There's yeah.
No, we did that on the 2-hour ride up here.
That's right.
The vetting.
Yes, yeah. But you guys connected on that personal level, obviously, at some
Absolutely.
point, right? Yeah.
So what's kind of next for you guys, right? I know you just opened up, but do you expect evolutions to the menu, or, you know, the food is fantastic already? Is it just kind of bringing it to more people?
No, we are for sure planning to upgrade the menu a little bit. Right now, after those first 3 months, we checked out what's selling, what's not. We have a few ideas, menu-wise, that we want to change. As we say right now, it's the slow season. It's hot. It's mid-July, August. So we are bringing all those ideas together, and we're gonna add some items to the menu, upgrade some items maybe, and then by end of August, beginning September, we're gonna do a little bit of I would call a little bit of upgrade, just a little bit of revamp.
Is there like an example you can give us of something that you think could be refined a little bit that kind of plays to what you're going for?
For example, we're gonna change a little bit, like the boards. For example, we're gonna get a little bit bigger, because you see, it's a lot of food and small thing.
Americans are big.
Exactly.
More of a presentation side of things.
You guys like your portions big for sure.
Me too.
We're gonna, for example, add a burger or something to the menu, even more barbecue style. We're planning to get more smoked meats on the main menu, like the brisket maybe full time. So that's what we're looking at, what we can do. And when I say try to, is because of course you're not as busy on a Tuesday as you are on a Saturday. So that's why we have items right now. We're just like running Saturday through Sunday or Friday to Monday, because we do everything fresh, of course, and that's why we just test out a little bit before we put it on there.
And because we are still brand new, right, 3.5 months in, any downtime anywhere, I would assume, you would be looking at your menu to refine recipes, to see what works, what doesn't, and we're still in the process of, analyzing, are there items that sell better than others, and now in this downtime, when we have a little bit of time, it's not that we're killer slow, we are busy, but we have enough breathing room right now to where we can really take time and look at these things. And overall, the concept, this is just the first of many stagecoaches to come, I believe, right? So Wild Time Group overall is growing very rapidly, and so
very, very rapidly.
That in itself is exciting.
Is that something you can speak to a little bit? Because here in Sedona, there's a few other locations as well. I don't know how involved you are with those, but maybe even on a personal level, is it somewhere that you're grabbing lunch sometime and something that's evolved as you've been here in Sedona, which is, granted, albeit a little short?
Absolutely. So I arrived in Sedona as the director of food and beverage of a resort 2.5 years ago. And at that time, there was one Wild Time location in Sedona. Meanwhile, we have 5, and we have Shorebirds, which is one of my favorite concepts ever. It's
what is coastal seafood? Because I saw it because there's like deep sea seafood, right? This is coastal.
We need to set you up with a podcast over there, because it's truly amazing. It's Latin inspired seafood. The first location was in Huntington Beach, California.
Okay.
Right?
Newport Beach.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And it was very successful there. So Wild Time Group opened one location over here, and it's just, the food is phenomenal and completely different than what you'd find here, obviously.
Yeah.
And that it's amazing. You should check it out.
And they got hot chicken too, right?
Yeah.
There's a hot chicken place.
That's
Jaybirds.
Jaybirds,
Jaybirds.
Jaybirds is amazing.
That's the fastest growing branch Wild Time has right now.
Yeah.
They almost do an opening every month, every month to 2 months.
Nashville hot chicken is like blowing up like.
And like Jaybirds is blowing up crazy. I see them on Instagram every day. Some new guys.
Only spot in Sedona, right?
Yeah.
There's no other hot chicken in Sedona.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Barbecue and hot chicken are like the two things I would probably want after a long day of hiking.
Barbecue #1 though, for sure. So nice work, guys.
Well, there's a lot of Mexican food up here, which I love. I love Mexican food. It's actually my favorite type of food. But is there much barbecue food outside of you guys up here right now?
There's a few competitors. Like we have, I think Cold Grill. We're kind of in the same as smoking meats, but it's a completely different concept.
Sure.
Well, it's a different world, right?
You can even compare it to the concept we do.
It's also not full service, right? You have to help
full
yourself.
Service. And then on the others, you have some steak houses, but then they don't. I think we're more diverse in our menu. also in the way that you can come here, spend 30-40 bucks, have a meal, have a drink, and have a good time.
And a great view.
But
sure.
you can make it as fancy and bougie as you want. You can do a 3-course meal too and spend $100 a person, and I think we're very versatile in that way.
Well, here's what I will say. Like, this is just me and my personal opinion of the times I've been here to Sedona. You guys bring a how can we serve you? How can we entertain you? How can we give you something that's great? Compared to, I moved here in 2008, and interactions I've had coming up here was more like, we're closing. Like, we close at 9.
Totally.
It's 8:15.
Totally.
What do you want? Like, we're closing. Where you guys open up that, and that's been one of my my dad's apprehensions about this town is he's like, I like to stay up for a little bit. I like to have a beer. I like to have to go this, and he's like, there's nowhere I can go to. You guys bring this different energy. This you don't have to go to bed at 8 a.m. to enjoy what we have to offer here, right? You guys can stay up a little bit later, right? And people want you guys to stay up a little bit later. So thank you for staying up a little bit later with the barbecue. And
definitely send your dad away.
I will. I will. Oh, next time he comes out, I'm like, here's where you're going, Dad, and he will love
grab
it.
Grab a cocktail, sit at the bar, watch the people fall off the bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
That sounds like a great evening. Yeah.
But no, you guys bring a different energy to this town. From what I've seen, it's always been a super cool town to me, but it's been more of a go to bed at 7, wake up at 3, go on your hike. I'm like, I want to go to bed at 10. Have a couple cocktails and maybe some wings and some barbecue,
I was saying this earlier. When I go on vacation, I always am way more ambitious before I arrive than after I arrive, right?
Yes.
Aren't we all, though?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To be able to come and eat delicious food. For me personally, I like the idea of squeezing in a hike, and I'll do that as much as possible. But if you're looking for a trip to Sedona filled with hiking and activities, don't bring me along because I'm probably just going to try and get some delicious food and beverage.
However,
I don't think one negates the other, right?
Sure.
I mean,
yeah.
I would come and party until 1 a.m. and then go hiking to work off the calories you just
at 2 a.m.
You just sweat out the hangover.
You're fucking crazy.
No. Let's do 8 a.m. hike, maybe 9 a.m. depending on how hot it is.
Go to bed, then wake up. All right,
yeah,
I got you.
No night hiking.
Like, dude, you're nuts.
That sounds
man.
dangerous.
Oh, dude, is there mushrooms involved? Like, let's do it. Let's do it. No. But
So,
no, it's a different energy that is being brought to Sedona, right? Because it's almost like a passing of the torch, right? Because you have a lot of people like Luke. Luke grew up in Phoenix, right? Born and raised in Phoenix. He knows this whole kind of demographic in a way. Something like this kind of plays into that hometown type of thing, right?
Yeah.
And yeah. So, anyways.
Well, let's wrap it up with this. How about you guys both give your personal recommendations for food and drink, if you will? I know that's putting you on the spot and kind of like choosing a child. But maybe it's not the one thing to order, but let's phrase it this way. Let's phrase it this way. If someone's going to order something, what's something they can't go wrong with?
All right. Kinda.
So I already said I love the salmon dish. It's fresh salmon, never frozen. It's amazing. It meshes incredibly well together. And typically I'm a beer drinker, so we have delicious beers on tap. I love Tower Station, Mother Road. That's an amazing IPA. But I also love our cocktails, and I'm not gonna lie, as fancy as this drink looks, it's amazing. I mean, fresh squeezed pineapple juice with whipped Coco Lopez on top, deconstructed pina colada, Zacapa rum, and Malibu mixed together. I mean, it's amazing. So, cheers. My recommendation.
Cocktail guy.
I wouldn't necessarily order something with Malibu in it. That's just not the direction I would go.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you put this out because you said your cocktails are balanced, and that's exactly what this is. It's not too sweet. It's got a nice little kick to it, but it just is refreshing as well. And you put that up against some seafood or even some barbecue, it's a great pairing. And what about you, sir?
All the pressure's on you, bro.
Well, in my opinion, there's two things you can do. You come in on a Saturday with the guys. You order this dish, the gun board, fills you completely up, and you're ready for 10 beers and more. And that's
real quick before you move on from that. Like the pickled onions and that's you. You're correct.
We all do that ourselves.
Yeah, dude. That is a key component to like a meat and cheese board or barbecue board, right?
Because you need the sourness to cut through all that fattiness.
Yeah, but also it adds a little bit of personality from the chef as well, right? Because you're not just putting this in a baggie with Hellmann's, right? Like you're putting your own whatever it is.
Yeah, we have our own pickling brine, which is our recipe.
Yeah,
it's. Again,
I just got a pickled jalapeno. It hit way harder than the pickled onions. Let me say that much.
So,
nice work, chef.
Boy.
Nice work.
And I don't know if you mentioned that you bake the bread in house too.
Yeah. So
we
make the bread ourselves. So this is flat bread. Some people like to call it focaccia, but that would be a little bit of blasphemy, I think.
Why? Why is that blasphemy if you call it focaccia?
Because it's a whole different recipe and preparation method.
So focaccia is so we come from the beer world, Pilsner. Right, if you call it Pilsner a Pilsner, unless you're like from 50 yards from the Pils.
Yeah, that would be like saying Coors Light is a Pilsner, which is
But this seems like it's a little bit further away from that, right?
Yeah, so this is actually closer to pizza dough. It isn't pizza dough.
Okay.
And so we make it, we do a cold fermentation overnight, which makes it more soft and less tensy. And then we pull it out, give it one more fermentation, flatten it out, and we first get it crispy on the flat top. Both sides, give it a nice brushing, basting with our hairball, which is a little bit pesto-like, and then we bake it in the oven until it's nice and spongy.
I know you tried to make the focus on the gun bowl or whatever the plate is, whatever. It's all about that fucking bread, dude. I got bread. To
say it in our corporate chef's words, which is Jay. Amazing guy. He says, like, if you come here and you don't order that board, you're a fucking communist. That's what he says.
For sure.
Which is, there's some truth in there.
Yeah. Well, dude, like I appreciated like the ribs and the pork and all that.
It's just a nice little bit of everything.
Yeah, that bread takes.
Like again, like you have all those meats which are smoky, full of flavor, and then you have that bread. Scoop up your pulled pork because we don't need cutlery, and then those pickled veggies to.
My vote is make a dish with the bread and the pickled onions, 1 or 2 pickled jalapenos because those have a kick, which is what I like, and then the pulled pork. Dude, come on. I could eat that every day of the week.
It's actually funny. I made that before opening.
Really?
When we didn't have everything ready yet, we were just test driving, and he was like, "I'm hungry." So
I'm always hungry.
He's eating all day. He's in amazing shape for the amount of food he pushes down every day. So we just.
How could you not? You know,
right. Yeah,
I was in
I wish
better
I could
shape
eat that
before we
much and
opened
be
up.
in great shape too.
And I said the salmon, but naturally, I love all of our barbecue food. I love it, and. Yeah, I don't get tired of it. I eat it every day. Yeah. I'll scavenge through the kitchen.
As I was saying, like for me, you can come here in 2 ways. Like I said, this and the beers, or you can come in with your family, get all our specialty dishes, accompany them with the cocktails, and you just have a high quality night, I guess.
I'm on for all of them. Like I will.
It seems like you have a real versatility here, right?
Yeah,
you mentioned the salad, even on a late night.
Again, it's in balance. Like we do. Like really nice quality, we do good service, but it's not like a really fine dining where we have a dress code and where you have to show up on time. It's like you can come in here, please don't, with 20 people without a reservation. And we will give you the same.
He says,
please don't make a reservation.
It's okay, you can.
You can.
We'll take care of you.
We always take care of it. And so we give those people the same kind of service that we do at Two Top. Like we give them the full menu, we give them the same amount of.
You gotta expect that though, right? Like you come in a place like this, right? This is a tourist destination. You're gonna get people who are like myself, right? It's like, you know what? I don't want to go on the weekend. I'm gonna go and stay there on a weekday and have,
Not on the other side.
The American Mountain Biking Association will roll in here with a 40 top one night and ask for pulled pork, something super limited that you have to like prepare 12 hours in advance, and you're gonna be like, okay, we'll figure it out.
And we will.
On the other side of it, I might come in one night and eat the same amount of pork by myself. So it's a
Chef is
balance.
gonna be out back digging up
we have the pulled pork as a sole platter also.
I'll take a shoulder, please. Like for the family? No, for me. I'll take a whole shoulder.
Like everything on the gun board, we also have as a dish on its own. So we get one of the items, just the bigger amount.
Yeah.
So that's nice to have this one. You don't have to order one each and then put around the plates on the table. So this is the perfect combination.
Well, you guys are new, right? So even if we were up here 6 months ago, we wouldn't have even really been able to experience it. And so this is kind of our first dig into it. But as we go downstairs and decide what we're going to eat for dinner, I feel confident that whatever I'm going to order is going to be as good as what's on this plate. So
for sure,
it's exciting to know that after I do way too long of a hike and overshoot myself athletically, next time I come to Sedona, I got a place I can come to when it's way too late and throw back a beer and some food.
For sure.
Well, thank you both so much.
Yeah,
this was a real pleasure.
For sure.
I know you said that was for show, but there's not too much left of it now, which is a sign of the level of execution you guys have going on here.
Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully you can still see us on the camera. There's a beautiful view that's closing out for the evening behind us, and it's been a wonderful trip for Eric and I both. And to wrap it up this way, it's truly a blessing. So thank you both so much for giving us your time and explaining, and thank you for bringing your talents to Arizona. And beyond that, I think that's where to wrap it up.
Thank you for having us in your beautiful state and country. USA all the way, baby.
Yeah, if you're not looking at
you didn't even spill anything on that shirt. Like I would have spilled shit on there like long ago, like everything. Like nice work, man.
When you picked up the one of the cocktails, it dripped some perspiration, not cocktail juice, but I was worried it was going to mess up the suit. So I'm glad you made it out of this unscathed.
On my behalf,
we did.
Luckily, it evaporated before it even hit his suit. Awesome. You're a magical man.
Once again, guys, thank you so much. And
thank you very much.
Thank you, guys,
all of our listeners, you got to come here, eat some food, drink some cocktails, go on a hike, do Sedona, and check out A Taste of AZ magazine and podcast for some more. Bye.
Bye.